What's up, everybody? Back at you with another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I promise we will not disappoint you. I want to first, before we get into the video, just tell everybody I appreciate you. People have been praying for my mother. Thank you. Some of you know that, I had posted little things where I had to take my mother to the hospital. 8 hours later, they release my mom. She goes home. We think everything's good. The hospital's like, she's good. But before we got to that hospital, my sister was like, why'd you take her there? I'm like, nah, she's good, man. My wife said, she's good over there. Anyway, long story short, she wasn't good. The next day, my sister finds her in the bed. She'd been puking up black blood, and you already know. I seen that shit in prison. That ain't nothing nice. Nothing nice. So anyway, we take her to the hospital. She's got a cyst on her esophagus. She had internal bleeding. She had a bleeding ulcer. They thought she had a stroke. And her blood pressure had went below 90. Long story short, she was in bad shape. So that's where I've been at the last couple of days. Hopefully she's going to be all right. She's getting better. So definitely appreciate everybody praying. But if you're a young man or a young lady, you're watching this and you love your mom and you're out there in the streets, one of the things that I used to think about in prison was like, damn, man, I had a 40-year sentence. And I'm thinking, I don't ever want my mama to die while I'm in this place. Please don't let my mother die in this place. I want to be there with her. And eventually, man, by the grace of God, I ended up out of prison. And now I'm able to be here, when times are tough. But anyway, thank you to everybody. Today, we're going to go inside USP Lee, a prison that, some people might say, oh, it was laid back there. But it wasn't always laid back. I've seen more murders there than USP Big Sandy. And I was there when there were more murders. Not that I've seen every murder that was there, or every murder that occurred, but it was definitely a place where if you were looking for it, you could definitely get it. It was also a place to a certain extent where if you want to do your time, you can just do your time. And when I say that, that means that 99% of the time people weren't out just, looking to come hit you up, stab you, do whatever, some of the wild things that happen in other penitentiaries pretty much for no reason. Some people watching the video are like, come on, man, they're just stabbing people for no reason. It definitely happens. Sometimes they make up reasons. Sometimes people are absolutely miserable, so they make up a reason to do something violent to you. Like they want to unleash their rage. It could be something this small. Something that in the real world you might be like, that ain't nothing. And I've seen little things like that in Big Sandy. I'll give you an example. There was a time when there was a dude that sat at one of the Boston tables. And you guys all know the shot caller, Stevie Burke. And Steve, he wanted this dude smashed. He was an older dude for sitting in his seat. So something that stupid and saying, hey, man, slide. Instead, he wants to do, beat, brutalize, punish, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, we're going to go inside USP Lee. We're going to go in C block. That's where I was housed at back then. We're in C block. I'm up there. I'm cooking. We're making a holiday meal. And the next thing you know, man, you see dudes over there playing cards. And sometimes they start yelling. Sometimes they start arguing. You're like, yo. And things start to escalate slowly. It always happens, man. Cards is a major reason why people get devastated in prison. Whether you owe a bill over cards, whether you're beefing. Dudes are always over there trying to get the up. People put a little scratch mark on the card and people catch them. Or the dude running the gambling table, he's doing some shiesty shit. It always happens. You're in a dangerous environment, yet you're doing shiesty things. Things that could cost you your life. So there's this kid, he's a Jamaican kid, right? But he's from D.C., catches his case in D.C. He's Jamaican. And he kind of, I don't want to say plays defense, but it was kind of like he was, he rocked with some of the New York dudes. He rocked with the D.C. dudes. His co-defendant was in the unit. His name was Sal Boy. We're going to talk about old Sal Boy. And he rocked with the Jamaicans. He rocked with the New York dudes. But really, man, he was from D.C. And his co-defendant was in the unit. And he was a tall, skinny black kid, man. Kind of looked like Steve Urkel, for real, with short hair, right? Real short hair. Missing his front tooth. And he was a Jamaican dude. He used to come, I had a little store in the unit. He'd come in there and say, hey, rude boy, let me get one soda. Let me get a Mountain Dew. And I'm like, man, you speak English, man. He's like, Chad, stop playing with me. So sometimes, he'd switch over to his little Jamaican voice and all of that. But all in all, man, this dude was a pretty good dude. His co-defendant was in the unit. He's over there. They're playing cards. Florida dude's running the table. And you always got dudes like this in prison. Florida dude's kind of stocky, got dreads, wears his Timbs. He acts like, pretty much like he's cool with everybody. But people play their position in prison. What do you mean by that? Everybody has a position to play. Some guys are laid back. Some guys are quiet. Some guys are loud. Some guys are boisterous. And this dude played a position where he acted like he was the shot caller for the Florida car. Maybe he was the rep in the unit, but they only had like 2 or 3 Florida dudes, if that, inside our unit. But, he tried to intermingle with everybody like, yo, it don't matter where I'm from. I'm that dude, whatever. He's running the gambling table. And what happens is when they're doing the poker thing, right? Everybody's over there playing. The white dudes are playing. Black dudes are playing. Spanish dudes are playing. Yes, they're interracially mixing. You wouldn't see any Southsiders playing poker at their table. You wouldn't see that. Sometimes a couple of the Paisas will slide in there, Puerto Rican kids. And then they started beefing over the tables, right? Like, nah, man, you're always running the table. So they compromised. They worked something out. Monday and Tuesday, the white dudes run the poker table in the unit. Wednesday and Thursday, the black dudes run the table. And, so on. Friday and Saturday, you guys run the table. And that's how they were doing the stuff. Well, on this particular day, the Florida dude, he's running the gambling table. He's got the poker game going. There had been allegations about this cat scratching the cards. That's why, talk about the card thing. Put a little check mark on the card or whatever. So he knows what's going on. He can see it. How they can see that shit, I do not know. But anyway, him and the Jamaican kid, they're beefing a little bit. Dude's running the table. The Jamaican kid's running up his credit. He's got a couple of dollars. He could probably pay it, right? And they start beefing on the table. Start getting disrespectful. Now remember, this kid with the dreads is a big dude. He's got a little size on him. The other kid looks like Steve Urkel. They start arguing, whatever. They jump up. Steve Urkel, 2-pieces the dude. Boom, boom. Hits him with the 2-piece. Stuns him right away. Jamaican dude acts like he's the baddest dude on the planet. He's one of them dudes, man, where at times you could say, man, he's too hard for the yard. He's too tough for this, He's like the toughest guy in the yard, but really he's not. And in my mind, I used to really think that this dude, I used to think dude was a tough dude. I'm like, man, dude's got some probably tough dude. You know what I'm saying? He acted like it. And remember, the image that you project is the image that you have to protect. So he acted like he was the toughest dude in the unit. And I'm like, man, dude's probably got a little work with him. So anyway, man, the Jamaican kid pieces him up. Pop, pop. Hits him with the 2-piece and stuns him. You ever see somebody get hit and they're like punch drunk? Like when he hits him, he's looking for him, like stumbling with his arms out, like trying to grab the kid, And the Jamaican kid, they start, tussling. They're wrestling a little bit. And the Florida dude, he's getting his bearings together. He goes into his hair and he pulls out a knife, swings the knife. This man had a knife hidden in his hair. I've never seen that type of hiding spot, man. We got something coming up you guys probably might want to hear and you might enjoy. But anyway, he pulls the knife out of his hair. He's swinging the knife at the kid. The kid's trying to fight now. They start running. They're running around the unit. Maybe I can put a picture up so you guys see how big the unit is. They're running around the unit. There's chairs everywhere. And when you hear shoes, this is the one thing that dudes can tell you in prison. When you hear the feet squeaking, you know people are working. And what I mean when I say working, that means they're getting it in. They're fighting. Something's going on. There's some type of physical altercation. You hear the feet, and that's when I had looked over. That was when they were tussling. But then they start running around the unit. The dude's got the knife. He's chasing them with the knife. Now remember, his co-defendant's here. His co-defendant's in the unit. And, I'm just going to give it to you how it really is. Man, them DC dudes over there, they had a lot of power. They were like that. We had some dangerous young gunners in our unit. And I don't mean them kind of gunners. We'll do a video on them gunners too. But anyway, the kid Sal boy, right? Man, this shit was like a Matrix movie. To be honest with you, it was just wild to see something like this. He has this knife inside the vents. How he gets in the vent, I don't know. We have these vents, right, that you can turn like this. If you stick a pencil in the hole, you can turn them. You try to close them, whatever. He had a piece of steel out of there like this, and he turned it into a knife. Kid Sal boy, man, once in a while he'd drink, do his thing. But really, man, a quiet dude, very respectful, mind his own business. But he's seen his man running around the unit. He gets that knife. He knows the other dude has the knife. Dude falls. He tries to hit him with a chair. Falls on the ground. And now the Florida dude's like got the knife, right? And it's wild, man. Like he's got this knife. And he's over the top of the dude like a movie. And the kid Sal boy comes out of nowhere. It was like I know you're going to be like, yeah, come on, Chad, man. No cap. Don't cap on us. This man like slides on the floor on his knees, like right when he gets there, and hits this dude, man. Rapid fire. Whap, 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 whap. He had to hit this dude, man. No exaggeration. I don't know, man. At least 20 times. Hits the Florida dude. Pop, 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 pop. What do you think the Florida dude does? He's trying to roll over now. He's got both of these dudes. This kid's on him with the knife. Jamaican dude gets up, starts kicking him. I think he kicked him in the head, kicked him in the face a couple times. And once again, your man's on the ground, punch drunk. Drops the knife. He's trying to get up. He's lost. By now, the cops are coming, right? And this is what in USP Lee, I'll say this. The police, they came. Like the cops liked action over there. You had a bunch of cops over there that, they wanted some stuff to happen. Like they looked forward to it. Ain't that crazy? And I believe that. I believe that they look forward to, violence and action because they were hyped up. They come in and these dudes, it's like a free ticket. They can body slam dudes, punch you, get you out in the hallway, handcuff you, do whatever they want to you, for real. Cops are in there, lock it in, lock it in. Cops are in there, they're tackling people, cuffing these dudes up, taking dudes to the hole. And at the time, I had a cellie named Tim Tim, right? He was a white dude. He's a white kid from D.C. And, man, very well-liked dude, man. Like, some of the biggest, D.C. dudes don't really have shot callers. That's what they say. And they got dudes that they respect, though. Dudes that been around a long time. You probably heard me mention Love before, Me at My. Like, these dudes like little Tim Tim, man. Tim Tim was my cellie. So I had a D.C. cellie, a white dude from D.C. Ain't that crazy? You're like, white dude from D.C. in prison? Thought all them dudes were politicians, right? Not always. So anyway, they lock us down. And they go to this cell and they get this kid. They review the tapes. They always go back and look at the tapes. So they look at the tapes and they come back and they take the wrong dude to the hole for the stabbing. They take this kid named Boo. Boo's always in trouble, man, from D.C. His mother had passed away. God bless his mom. His mother had died while he was in prison. He had like a 35-year sentence, little short dude, bald head. Me and this dude ended up in numerous prisons together. Boo, if you're watching this and you're out, man, hit me up, man. I know he had a lot of time, but he had a lot of time in back then. He was always getting drunk, very depressed over his mom passing away. So anyway, they take they take Boo to the hole and leave Sailboy. Sailboy makes it. He makes it out. We're locked down. The next day, they let us out. Can you believe that? They let us out. So when they let us out, what do you think happens? DC dudes are grouped up. The two or three Florida dudes in our unit are like, oh, they didn't really help their homeboy, man. Like, they didn't respond. The dirty South, they got a car, but they didn't respond. And maybe it was because, when you're outnumbered, there's power in numbers. You could have 100 dudes that ain't tough, but if you get them all together and you got 100 of them and you got 5 dudes from another car, and then, there's other people that'll say something, different than that, where they're like, nah, man, I'd rather have 10 strong men than 100 weak. I mean, I understand that concept too. But in this unit, it didn't work that way. Florida dudes didn't really say nothing. They go outside. They're having a meeting. So when they get out there and they're having this meeting, my little cellie Tim Tim, he's got a hot-ass cup of coffee. They're out there beefing with the Florida. He throws the hot coffee on one of the dudes. Now, you would think, man, this shit's about to break out, right? But once again, man, I think them dudes sized up the numbers like, damn, man. Hell no. We ain't about to do nothing. They end up talking it out. They politic it out. Florida dudes in the hole. They got the kid Boo in the hole. Boo gets out of the hole. Eventually, I think they come get Sailboy, take him down there. And, they work these things out in prison. They call it prison politics. They talk it out. And sometimes you might think like, damn, man, how you going to talk that out, right? Like, this is your dude that everybody kind of looked up to. I don't know if he was the actual shot caller. I don't think he was. There was another dude over there named Gargamile, some shit like that. And he was kind of like really their rep. But anyway, man, they ended up talking it out. But the takeaway from that is when you're in a federal prison and you see the violence, it does affect you. Like, you see this dude get butchered. And I remember like watching this and it was like all in slow motion. And that's what they call it. And they're like, yo, man, they butchered that dude. And that pretty much means like, man, they hit that dude, man, like a butcher, turned him into a pincushion. Wow, 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 wow. And you see that stuff, man, day after day. And don't get it twisted. This shit used to happen all the time. This isn't like, well, an isolated incident where, it happens once in a while or, nah, not true. And these things happen. Card games, basketball games. And you're just like, you start to think like, man, what was that really over? Did they really have to stab that dude over a card game? You're beefing over a card game over what? A couple $100 in stabs? Next thing you know, man, you could be on the receiving end. You could end up dead. Stabbed up. You're pulling a knife out of you. That was one of the best hiding spots. When that dude pulled that joint out of his hair, never in my wildest dreams would I ever think that a dude would have a knife in his hair. He had his shit wrapped up like a beehive, all them dreads. He reached right in there. I bet you the police never even checked their hair, right? Never even checked his hair. Wherever he goes to chow, he's probably got his knife on him. When he goes to rec, probably got his knife on him. And a lot of times in prison, man, if you got that knife on you, it'll keep you safe. You pull out a knife, man, and you back yourself up. A lot of times, man, dudes are like, they'll be jumping at you, but that knife will keep people off of you, man. And on this particular day, when this dude got hit with that 2-piece, sometimes we call it the one-hitter quitter. If you just hit him one time, he took the fight out of him. You ever heard that saying where they take the fight out of you? Dude just blasted this dude. Bow, bow. And he was punch drunk. It was over. He ended up getting his bearings, got the knife or whatever. And he probably, when the dude fell on the ground, he was over the top of him, man, like some shit in the movie. And it was like, and I remember watching it like, wow, this is it. And out of nowhere, man, the kid came like the Matrix, Sal Boy. Dangerous, dangerous weapons in there, dangerous places. Definitely not the place that you want to be. I promise you that. You do not want to be in a federal maximum security prison. Shit is off the chain every day. They just had another body at Beaumont 2 days ago. I believe it was at the FCI. Some people get it twisted, man. USPs, FCIs, it's going down, man. It's definitely going down. Think about the decisions that you're making. You know, we did the video the other day about the gang stuff in my city. People getting murdered. Again, another murder last night. 30-year-old shot in the head. Somebody's mother has to bury him. Anyway, Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Hope you enjoyed this little video. We'll be back at you tomorrow with a live. Monday, we're probably going to have the Aaron Pike story. Hope you enjoy that one. With respect, until tomorrow, we're out.